Good morning. So nice to have you watch 3+U this morning. You're going to be awfully glad that you did, because tomorrow is a very symbolic day in Chattanooga, and you have a chance to be a part of this history-making day tomorrow, because as you know, I'm sure, Chattanooga's Captain Larry Taylor died last week after a long battle with cancer. Tomorrow will be his funeral and his burial, and you have a chance to show your thanks one last time to Captain Taylor, who spent so much of his life with that same selfless behavior that he showed on June 18, 1968 in Vietnam, when he rescued 4 men amidst unspeakable odds, then waited decades actually before being awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Vince Butler is with the Medal of Honor Heritage Center. He loves to talk about Captain Taylor's life and story. Next to him, though, is Dave Hill, who is the last living Ranger, is that right? Who Captain Taylor, from the team that Captain Taylor rescued on that day, June 18. Does it seem like yesterday to you when you think about it, Dave?
Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes it seems a very long time ago.
Yeah.
A different lifetime.
You were telling me, you've been talking with me a little bit this morning, and I want to start with Vince, just to kind of quickly let folks know what they can do tomorrow. But as you begin to tell the story, Dave, you begin with one part of it, and then there's always another prong to add in, because it was really a miracle that you survived. Would you agree?
Oh yes, absolutely. We definitely. I wouldn't be talking to you if it wasn't for Larry Taylor. None of us would have survived that. You heard the saying, "Don't take a knife to a gunfight." Well, we found ourselves in a gunfight still, and all we had was our knife.
So how? Okay, let's start with him. How old were you in 1968?
At the time, 20.
How old was he?
23 or 24.
Not necessarily high ranking, was he, correct?
Nope, but it's ironic, he was a first lieutenant. The other two aircraft commanders and co-pilot were captains. He was in charge, though, as the flight leader, because he was the best man for the job.
So where were you? Where in Vietnam were you?
We were northwest of Saigon, along what they call the Dong Nai River. And we were down there monitoring enemy movement towards Saigon primarily. They'd come in from Cambodian border, and it was our job to find them. If they're a small unit, ambush them, and if it's a large unit and they're off in the distance enough, bring in artillery and air on them.
You were a Ranger even then, so highly skilled. Were you just a team of 4, or were there others as well?
No, a team of 4. I was assistant team leader.
Okay, so what happened?
We moved to our overwatch position out of a wood line after dark, almost full dark. We had a starlight scope, which is kind of a primitive light vision enhancement tool. It was the first of its kind. We got out there, didn't see anything at first, and we got out there. Then we apparently walked into kind of a big open horseshoe, the bottom end of it, about the size, a little smaller than a football field. Got in there, and our team leader, Bob Elsner, who was walking point, I was rear security. Bob turned around behind, tapped, and we did a tap code down the line, get out. And so I whispered, "What's going on?" He said, "We got people on 3 sides. We're going to go back out. Hill, you're the point man this time." So we reversed course. Before I could move about 10 feet, I got a tap on the shoulder from my teammate, Billy Kahn, our grenadier. He said, "Stop." They just moved another squad between us and the wood line. So now
You're trapped.
We're trapped. And they still don't know we're there. We can see people
they didn't know you were there.
No, not at that point. We see people lighting cigarettes, because they thought generally North Vietnamese could move at night at will, in that kind of area, because they knew they were a long way from American bases. So at any rate, we happened, fortunately, to be next to a water buffalo cart trail, about 5-6 feet wide, made out of laterite clay, that sun hardened. I mean, it's like cement. So we jumped on the other side of that. We had rice paddies on the other 3 sides, enough to give us coverage all the way around. And so we're going to be in a fight here. They're going to figure it out pretty quick.
So did you call for help?
We called for help. Yep.
Okay.
Had a forward operation base. We call it the radio relay team, because our radio wouldn't go far enough. Called in. First thing they did was bring in artillery, put them cranked up, not firing yet, and they called Phu Loy, D Troop Air, 1st Squadron, 4th Cavalry. It was Larry's unit. He was on scramble. He's got 2 minutes to get in the chopper, launch. And when he took off, all he has is a general azimuth to our location. It's pitch black, and he has his automatic radio detection finder. So he flew on that course until he came over the top, and his thing reversed 180. So he said, "I just passed over him." And of
Okay,
course,
so he came back and found you.
yeah, so he walked out, he called our team leader back in, he checked in with our team, and called our team leader and said, "Okay, we're going to the north, going to the south, and we're going to swing around and we're going to start shooting."
Okay, so he is in this helicopter that is not intended to actually hold anybody but himself, correct?
Right. He held the helicopter, between he and his wingman that night, they carried 152 rockets and 16,000 machine gun rounds.
Okay, so he was intended to fire.
He intended to suppress enemy around us.
But didn't he take off without any ammunition?
No.
No, he did have ammunition.
Yeah, at the start of the fight, but they expended all those rockets, they expended all those minigun rounds.
So did he end up, as he's landing, did he land all the way and y'all grabbed hold? Or did y'all have to, how did you get on the helicopter?
Well, let me continue on the other thing. So for the next half hour, we were shooting everything we could. They were shooting. He needed to know where we were, so he said, "Show me your position." Well, we call starburst, star cluster flares, not float down parachute type, but just to mark your position.
Right.
And so he said, when I say go, you launch those. I'll know where you are, and I'm going to blow up everything around you. And we launched them. All hell broke loose. But he had a lot of muzzle flashes and tracers to shoot at. He knew where we were, he knew where they were. And so the next half hour, he and his wingman flew around us. Every time somebody built up, maybe to assault our team, because we were in a good position, as long as we stayed down and defilade, as we call it, we just pop up, shoot, get back down and defilade. At any rate, he did that, and finally figured he's out of ammunition, out of rockets, so is his wingman. He made one fake run. We were going to head to the southeast, specific azimuth, 135 degrees. He said, "Do you have any claymores?" He said, "Yeah, we got 4 left, and those are big directional mines." So 4 claymores essentially is 3,000 bullets moving at about 4,000 feet per second.
Right.
And a fan shape, convex. At any rate, we blew the claymores, ran through there about 100 meters out into the rice paddy. And at that point, he arrived, as Larry said, in the same hole in the mud, landed. And when he landed, he had told our team leader, says, "Okay, I'm going to land. You got 10 seconds to get on my craft."
10 seconds?
10 seconds, yeah.
So those claymores were like a decoy for you to kind of have cover as you ran?
To clear a path, any enemy that was in front of him was going to be gone.
Right.
And so basically to break us out of the encirclement.
Okay, so this is TV, so we have to take a commercial break, but you've set us up for the climax of the story, right? So hang tight, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, Dave will finish telling the story of how Captain Taylor rescued them, what they had to do to hold on, and then I promise Vince will join in on how we can all send a farewell to our very special Captain Taylor tomorrow. Hang tight, we're right back.
Bragg Weight Loss. Listen to Lisa's journey.
Well, I have tried every diet until I heard Bragg Weight Loss. I was only guaranteed 20. I lost 45 pounds.
Schedule your free consultation today. Visit braggweightloss.com.